Welcome students for the chemistry class. It is periodic table lecture 4. In the previous topic I explained about blocks of elements. So periodic table is classified into 4 blocks, that means SPDF blocks. Now in this class, this entire periodic table is again classified based on electronic configuration and chemical properties. It is the classification of elements based on electronic configuration and chemical properties. That SPDF blocks is classification based on differentiating electron. That means only electronic configuration means SPDF blocks. But in this classification we are considering both electronic configuration and chemical properties. So elements are classified into 4 types. Elements in the periodic table are classified into 4 types based on electronic configuration and chemical properties. Type 1, inert gases or noble gases. It is type 1 elements. Type 2, representative elements, or you can call it as normal elements. Representative elements or normal elements. Next, type 3, transition elements. Type 4, inner transition elements. So elements in the periodic table are classified into 4 types based on electronic configuration and chemical properties. So it is the layout of the periodic table. You can see it is the type 1 noble gases, that means group 18 elements. Remaining P block, that means group 13 to 17 along with group 1 and 2. It is type 2 representative elements. Type 2. Type 1 group 18. Type 2 group 1, 2 and 13 to 17. It is type 3 transition elements from group 3 to 12. Type 4 inner transition elements, that means all F block elements. We will see first type 1 elements, that is noble gases elements or inert gas elements. These are group 18 elements, that means helium, neon, argon, krypton, xenon and radon. These 6 elements present in group 18 of the modern periodic table. These are called noble gases or inert gases. You know these are chemically inert because of stable octet configuration, because of NS2-NP6 configuration. This NS2-NP6 configuration is not there for helium. Helium has only 1s2 configuration, even though it is stable noble gas. So all these elements are chemically inert because of stable octet configuration. All these are gases only. You know how many gaseous elements are there in modern periodic table? 11 gaseous elements are there. In that 11, these 6 plus remaining 5, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, fluorine, chlorine. Along with hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, fluorine and chlorine plus 6 noble gases, total 11 gaseous elements are there in modern periodic table. Along with these 11 gaseous elements, 2 elements are in liquid state. You know that liquid elements, one is bromine and another one is mercury. So these two are liquid elements, 11 are gaseous elements, 11 plus 2 13. So the remaining all elements are solids. So not only gases, these are monoatomic gases. Monoatomic, atomicity is 1. What is the atomicity of hydrogen? 2. Oxygen 2. But noble gases are monoatomic gases. These elements, another name is inert gas because these elements not involved in any chemical reactions. These elements not involved in any chemical reactions. Hence, these are called inert gases. But in recent time, xenon, scientists prepared some compounds of xenon, XCF2, XCF4, XCF6, XCO3 and XCO4. Xenon also forms some compounds like other elements. Now xenon is participating in chemical reaction, so it is not correct to use the term inert gas because it is chemically active. That's why it is better to use the term noble gases for these elements. So group 18 elements are called noble gases. Understood? So you can see electronic configuration of these elements. Helium configuration, it is not octet, it is called doublet configuration. 2, 1s2. Even though this helium is highly stable, neon 2s2 2p6 octet, argon 3s2 3p6 8 electrons, krypton 8 electrons, xenon 8 electrons, krypton 4s2 4p6, xenon 5s2 5p6, radon 6s2 6p6. All these elements have stable octet configuration. Stable octet configuration. So it is about type 1 elements. Next elements, type 2 elements. Type 2 elements. What are type 2 elements? Representative elements are normal elements. It is the nucleus, first orbit, second orbit, third orbit, fourth orbit, fifth orbit, like this. In representative elements, the outermost shell is partially filled with electron. This shell is N, this is N minus 1, this is N minus 2. In representative elements, this shell is partially filled. Representative elements, all S and P block elements other than group 18. Already group 18 covered in type 1 elements. Type 2 elements are representative elements or normal. All S and P block elements other than group 18 are representative elements. These are chemically active. Representative elements are chemically active by gaining or losing or sharing of electrons to get stable octet configuration. All these elements are chemically active by gaining or losing or sharing of electrons to get stable octet configuration. So all S and P block elements means they contains non-metals, metalloids and metals. So representative elements may be metal or non-metal or metalloid. Their general electronic configuration is NS1 for group 1, NS2 for group 2. P block contains group 13 to 18, but 18 is type 1, so up to 13 to 17. So group 13 NS2 NP1, 14 NS2 NP2, 15th group general configuration is NS2 NP3, 16th group general configuration NS2 NP4, 17th group NS2 NP5. So these are the elements belongs to representative elements. So by combining all this, you will get general configuration NS1 to 2, NP0 to 5. It is the general electronic configuration of representative elements. You can see here, these are S block elements and up to this group 17. So S block plus P block, these 5 groups plus these 2 groups, total 7 groups belongs to this representative elements. Type 2. You can find these representative elements. Last cell is partially filled. Last cell is partially filled with electron. So what is the first element? H. First element is H. First representative element is hydrogen. Hydrogen. Now we can tell second element lithium, sodium, potassium, rubidium, cesium, francium. For all these elements configuration NS1. Beryllium, magnesium, calcium, strontium, barium and radium. General configuration is NS2. Boron, aluminium, gallium, indium and thallium. General configuration NS2 NP1. Carbon, silicon, germanium, tin and lead. Group 14. Configuration NS2 NP2. Nitrogen, phosphorus, arsenic, antimony and bismuth NS2 NP3. Oxygen, sulfur, selenium, tellurium, polonium. General configuration NS2 NP4. Fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine and astatine. General configuration NS2 NP5. So overall general configuration of representative elements is NS1 to 2, NP0 to 5. This is about type 2 elements. All these are chemically active to get stable configuration. Stable configuration. Next, type 3 elements. Transition elements. What are type 3 elements? Transition elements. Transition elements. Here you can see in transition elements, last 2 cells are partially filled with electrons. Nucleus, these are cells. It is N, N-1. Here N and N-1 are partially filled. Only last cell partially filled means representative. Last 2 cells are partially filled with electrons, transition elements. All D block elements are transition elements except group 12. What are the elements in group 12? Zinc, cadmium and mercury. Zinc, cadmium and mercury belongs to group 12. Group 12 elements are called non-transition metals or non-transitional elements. Zinc, cadmium and mercury are called non-transitional elements. All D block elements except group 12 are type 3 elements, transition elements. These transition elements are included in 4 series. Their general configuration is N-1D 1 to 10 Ns 1 to 2. What is the general configuration of transition elements? N-1D 1 to 10 Ns 1 to 2. It is the configuration similar to D block. D block elements also have same configuration. The word transition means change. A transition between metal area and the non-metal area. You can see in periodic table it is S block, P block. Here non-metals there, here metals are there. Here it is a transition from metal to non-metal through these elements. So these are called transitional elements. What are the examples for transition elements? Gold, copper, silver, platinum, iron. So many metals are there. These transition metals have characteristic properties. That means special properties. It is very important. What are the special properties of transition metals? Characteristic properties of transition metals, nearly 10 properties are there. All these are hard and heavy metals. All these are hard and heavy metals. That means with high density. Density is also more. So all transition metals are hard and heavy with high density. They have high melting point and boiling point. Transition elements have high melting point and boiling point. You know tungsten, this element has highest melting point among all the elements. Which element has highest melting point? Tungsten. All these are good conductors of heat and electricity. All transition elements are good conductors of heat and electricity. Reason is because of unpaired electrons. Because of unpaired electrons, all these are good conductors of heat and electricity. Which metal is best conductor of electricity? You know silver. Silver is best conductor of electricity. They act as catalyst. You know nickel is a catalyst in hydrogenation reaction. In the hydrogenation of oils, nickel is used as catalyst. In chemical equilibrium chapter we will come in class 11th only. Haber's process is there, Haber's process. This Haber's process is used to prepare ammonia gas. V2O5, vanadium oxide, acts as catalyst in contact process. In contact process for the manufacture of sulfuric acid. In the manufacture of sulfuric acid, V2O5 is catalyst. So that means nickel acts as catalyst, iron, V2O5, palladium, platinum. These elements and their oxides acts as catalyst. Formation of alloys. Transition elements forms alloys more easily. You can see bell metal, is an alloy. Brass, nichrome steel, nichrome steel. So these are some examples. Even bronze. Bell metal, copper plus tin. Brass, copper plus zinc. Bronze, copper plus tin. Nichrome, nickel plus chromium plus iron. So you can see here nickel, chromium, iron, copper, copper, copper. All these elements are transition elements. Transition elements forms alloys easily. They will form colored compounds also. You know copper salt, copper sulfate, blue in color. You know ferrous sulfate is pale green in color, pale green. Manganese salts are pink in color, whereas zinc colorless, sodium chloride colorless. Only transition metals forms colored compounds. Transition metals also forms complex compounds. I will give one example here. K4FeCN6, potassium ferrocyanide. It is a complex compound. In class 12th you have one separate chapter of complex compounds, coordination compounds. They exhibit paramagnetism. They exhibit variable oxidation states. For example, manganese exhibits oxidation state from +2, +3, +4, +5, +6 and +7 also. So these elements exhibits variable oxidation states, paramagnetism, colored complex alloys, catalyst. You know zinc, cadmium and mercury do not show any of special properties of transition elements because these are non-transition elements. Zinc forms colorless compounds. It has low melting point, low boiling point, no magnetic property. It is diamagnetic. Next, transition metals form a bridge between the chemically active metals of S block. S block are active. In P block these are non-active. So from active to less reactive, transition change. It is a bridge. Transition metals form a bridge between the chemically active metals of S block elements and the less active elements of group 13 and 14. That's why they are called transition elements. You can see 3D series, 4D series, 5D, 6D. It is the D1 to D10. If it is 3D, 3D1. For 4D series, 4D1. General ND1 to ND10. You can find anomalous configuration for copper, here for chromium. Special, anomalous, different configuration. This is the general electronic configuration of transition metals. You can find these are catalyst, nickel, palladium and platinum, generally used as catalyst. Highest melting point, tungsten. Highest density, osmium. Best conductor, good conductor, silver. It is the most abundant transition metal. Among all, it is the most abundant transition metal in the earth crust. Most abundant transition metal in the earth crust is iron. Iron. In world nomenclature, this group is called 1A. It is called 2A. It is 3A, 4A, 5A, 6A, 7A, and it is called 0 group. In old system, A group for represented elements A, for transition elements B. It is 3B, 4B, 5B, 6B, 7B. These are 8th. 8th group is there for 3 columns. It is 1B, it is 2B. This iron, cobalt, nickel, this is called 8th B, 8th group. So old system B groups are called transition elements. Nowadays it is IUPAC system starting from 1 to 18. Continuous 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 like this. Total 18 groups. This is IUPAC system for groups. Okay. Next, type 4 elements, that is inner transition elements. Type 4. In these elements, last 3 cells are partially filled. Nucleus, it is N, N-1, N-2. Last 3 cells means N, N-1, N-2. Ultimate, penultimate and anti-penultimate cells are partially filled with electrons. All F block elements are inner transition elements. Earlier they used to call rare earth because they are rarely abundant in earth crust. But nowadays this is not true because some are very abundant. Some are very abundant. Inner transition elements are arranged in 2 rows in the modern periodic table at the bottom. 4F series and 5F series. This is called lanthanides. 5F series are called actinides. 14 elements lanthanides, 14 elements actinides. From cerium to lutetium lanthanides, from thorium to lawrencium actinides. Their general configuration is N-2F 1 to 14, N-1D 0 to 1, NS2. Here you can see only NS2, still N is partially filled because it needs P6. Here D0 to 1, it has to fill up to 10. That means N-1 is partially filled. 1 to 14, so N-2. These 3 are partially filled in inner transition elements. All inner transition elements are metals. Next, blocks completed and types completed. Table is divided into blocks, table is divided into types. One more type of classification of periodic table. Classification into metals, non-metals and metalloids. So it is the overall periodic table. This area is non-metals. This border is metalloids or semi-metals. All the remaining elements are metals. That means most of the elements are metals. Metals have some special properties, electrical conductors, they have luster, ductile, malleable. Metals comprise more than 78% of all known elements. All metals are solids except mercury. Mercury is a liquid. And two more elements, gallium and cesium. They are liquids at above room temperature. At above 303 Kelvin, gallium is a liquid. Gallium is called summer liquid. Summer liquid. Cesium is also liquid at above 302 Kelvin. At room temperature, the only metal mercury is liquid. Non-metals are generally brittle and non-lustrous. Poor conductors of heat and electricity. They have low melting point and boiling point. The non-metallic character increase as one goes from left to right across the periodic table. You remember RNA, DNA like this. RNA, right side of the periodic table, non-metals are present. Non-metals compounds are acidic in nature. Oxides are acidic in nature. Non-metals, they are placed at right side of the periodic table. And one more variety is metalloids. Metalloids, they are present in between metals and non-metals. Properties are also intermediate between metals and non-metals. Next topic is how to predict. Prediction of period, group and block of an element if electronic configuration is given. Here you see this question. If electronic configuration of the element is 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p3, then this element belongs to which block? Period number is dash, group number is dash. You have to calculate all this. So for answering all these things, just you underline valence shell configuration. So check the principal quantum number here. Highest principal quantum number NLX, you compare with NLX 3p3. So highest principal quantum number is 3, its period is 3. Last entered electron is present in P, so it belongs to P block. P block. How many electrons are there in valence shell? 5 electrons. 2 plus 3, 5. Its group number is 15. Now you see here, period of the element corresponds to the principal quantum number of the valence shell. So period number, if you want to know, what is the principal quantum number? 3. Next one, block of the element corresponds to the subcell which receives the last electron. Last electron is in P subcell, so it belongs to P block. Next, group number. Group is predicted from the number of electrons in the outermost shell. If it is S block, you can write that number is direct group number. If a P block, you have to write number of electrons plus 10. So in this number of electrons are 5. So I written 5 plus 10. It is group number is 15. If it is a D block, you have to add number of electrons plus number of n minus 1d electrons also. I will take one more example. Electronic configuration is 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6, 4s2, 3d3. Here highest principal quantum number is 4, so period is 4. Last electron enters into D block. How many electrons are there in valence shell? 2. In D, 3. So total 5 are there. So its group number is fifth group. If it is D block, you have to add D electrons plus this. Here D not there, only configuration is given up to this much. Now what is the answer? Period is 4, block is S block, group number is 2. Group number is 2. So this is about classification of elements. In the next class, I will explain about periodic properties and periodic trends. Okay, thank you.